guys, it's Lynn with Littlefoot Nursery, and I am here with my full body silicone baby girl, Melina, and she is the Melina sculpt by Andrea Arcello. And I wanted to do a changing video of her, and I also wanted to do a topic that was requested by one of my viewers. So let's get started. So I'm gonna first of all change her out of this. This is like a velour outfit she's wearing, and as you can see, I'm wearing like a very springy dress today. It is 85 degrees today here in Southern California. I don't know what happened. It was like the switch flipped, and all of a sudden the weather decided that it was going to be spring. So we are now full on into warm weather, which is so nice. I'm going to change her into this beautiful romper. This is a romper by the brand Margarita. It's a 0 to 3 month size. I got this from Children's Salon, so just in case you guys are looking for it, that's where I found it. So, and I think it was actually, might have been from the Petite Outlet section of Children's Salon, which is their kind of discount section. So you can find some really amazing deals there. Anyways, I was at the mall today, and I could not believe, it was so sad, but the Gymboree at our local mall had a going out of business sale. And then also, you know, as you guys may have heard as well, Payless is going out of business. And I was super bummed about that. I've been buying shoes from Payless for a really long time. And yes, I know they're kind of, you know, not the necessarily like the best quality shoes, but it was so nice that they were so affordable, and I honestly felt like some of their shoes were quite comfortable, so I was super bummed about that. But anyway, so the topic I wanted to chat about, oh my gosh, look at this baby girl, is the subject of affordable silicones, and how can you find a more affordable silicone baby? And that is like a really, really good question. I feel like in general with this hobby, the prices of all dolls, just in general, have overall gone up. And this is not to say there aren't exceptions to that, because I do think that, especially with regards to reborns, there are a lot more dolls that have flooded the market, just with a lot of more people learning how to paint. There's some, you know, beginner artists who, you know, maybe just doing this as a hobby, or just may not feel yet confident to charge higher prices for their work, you know, who are charging, you know, pretty low prices for reborns. And so that has created definitely, you know, more competition, I guess, with regards to reborns and artists who paint reborns. But I do feel like, you know, I think in general though, the number of collectors, I'm sure, has also increased. I feel like I hear a lot of collectors on my channel who, you know, are new to the hobby and discovering it for the first time, and, you know, are looking for their first doll and that sort of thing. And then there are a lot that are new to the hobby and just jumping straight to silicones. Like, but yes, and so some people ease their way in, like they'll get a reborn, or even an Ashton Drake or Paradise Galleries to start, and then kind of work their way up up to the more expensive dolls. And then there's some that kind of literally just jump right in. So so yeah, I mean, I don't know, oh my gosh, this is so cute on her, you guys. Look how adorable. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. This is so darling on her. I can't take it. Here, I'm going to show you guys real quick before we kind of get really into our topic. So look at her. Oh my gosh, she's so peaceful. You guys, and you know, who have been following my channel for a while, I have, this is a portrait baby of my daughter Audrey when she was maybe about a month old. And, oh my gosh. And this is the sculpt that actually looks the most like Audrey. Emery May does look like Audrey when she was a month, kind of in this one photo I have of Audrey. And then this baby, Melina, really looks a lot like Audrey. She's like a spitting image. And this particular one, and she is, I think, the #1 Melina. I guess Andrea did 2 prototypes. So she did her, and then she also did my Aria. So I actually have both of the babies. So I have 2 Melinas and 2 Emery Mays, just to give you guys that background if you're new to my channel. But anyway, And the reason I wanted to do this video with Melina is because I feel like those 4 babies, because they are an older sculpt, and I think just there are silicone babies, beautiful, amazing silicone babies that are not brand new. I feel like that's really one of the best ways to get a more affordable silicone baby if you want an artist silicone. I think in terms of the non-artist silicone babies, I highly recommend the Ashton Drake silicones. I have 2 of them. I have Tasha and I have Little Livy. They're both really cute, and especially after I put them on a doe suede body, and it made them both, you know, so much nicer. So and those dolls run about $200. I would not recommend an Ivita silicone baby just because I feel like they really just look like a blank kit. And then also, you know, I found this out later. I had bought a couple for my daughter, and I didn't know any of this, but because I was just getting back into the hobby after many years of not being in the hobby, and I saw these dolls on eBay, and I was like, oh, these seem pretty affordable. So I like bought a couple for Audrey, and then discovered later that just after kind of doing my research more, that I guess they have also, you know, been guilty of like stealing sculpts from other artists, and that is a no-no. That is just not okay. So I will not support that, and just wanted to share my view on that. So, and I know it could be very tempting to want to get one of those just because of the price point, but if you save your money, and you know, even if it just takes longer, but if you save your money, I think it's really worth it to get an artist silicone. They're just so much more realistic. And then just for you, you can know that you have a baby that really was sculpted with a lot of care, painted, rooted, and really truly a one-of-a-kind baby. Just the way that the artists do their babies. Because even though I have 2 of the same sculpt, they look very different. The skin tone's a little different, and even though they're done by the same artist, I can very easily tell them apart. They do not look identical at all. So, so that's just something to keep in mind. So I do think the manufactured dolls are totally fine, like the Ashton Drakes. I think there's some confusion out there about silicone vinyl. That is not, I know there are companies that call a doll silicone vinyl, but that's basically just a vinyl doll that's kind of made from this slightly softer material, but it is not silicone, just to set the record straight on that. But yeah, back to kind of more of, so I'll speak mostly about like affordable silicones, but artist silicones. So I definitely think buying secondhand is a great way to get an affordable silicone. And by affordable, I'm still talking about, I think on the very, you know, kind of the less expensive end, probably about $1,500 if you buy one from sort of a lesser known artist that is used, or, you know, there are a few artists like Kimberly Dolls, for example. I don't know all the artists that do the more affordable babies, but Kimberly Dolls I know has silicones kind of around that $1,000 to $1,500 price range, so it's worth checking out. I've never had one of her dolls, but I have seen that she has more affordable dolls. And then there are other dolls that are, I think, another way to, so basically, so let me just finish that thought. And kind of where to find a secondhand silicone baby, I would join some of the silicone baby Facebook groups, because a lot of ladies will post their dolls that they're looking to sell. If you follow YouTube channels, a lot of the ladies will post dolls for sale on YouTube. That's generally kind of my preferred method of selling a baby, because I think there's something nice about letting the baby go to somebody who, you know, watches your channel and maybe even has a channel of their own, so you kind of still follow that baby. I think is really cool. So I think buying secondhand is absolutely just an awesome way to go, because a lot of ladies will sell for a little bit of a reduced price, and you can get a pretty good deal if you know how to hunt around and kind of do your homework. So I do think going for an older sculpt secondhand, you know, you can get a pretty good deal. So the Melina and Emery May dolls, I think they originally, when they were sold back in like 2014, I think Andrea was selling them for $3,100 if I'm not mistaken. And then some of her silicone babies after that, like Maggie and Eleanor, I think were more going for $3,750. And that was just for a regular silicone, the EcoFlex 20, which is what they are too. So So artists over time will raise their prices. So sometimes with an older doll, the collector may, you know, sell for similar price or take a little bit of a loss because they know that it's a used doll. And so, I think that the used Emery Mays and Melinas were going for in the 2000 to say 2800 range, generally speaking. So yeah, so that's a pretty great deal for a full body silicone baby. It's really hard to find them at that price range now. So that's kind of my number one piece of advice for finding an affordable silicone. My second piece of advice would be to look to get a silicone kit reborn by a silicone artist. And for this, you really need to do your homework on, because I feel like silicone artists, there are quite a few out there, but they're a little bit harder. They can be a little bit harder to find than the reborn artists, because there's just so many more reborn artists. I think, first of all, you know, I think the silicone artists are generally more kind of ladies who are doing this maybe a little bit more full-time. You know, that may be incorrect assumption, but the reason I think that is because silicone is so expensive, even the blank kits, that I feel like if you're going to be a silicone artist, just the amount of I don't know, like you have to kind of really know what you're doing, because otherwise if you mess up, it's not like messing up a, you know, $15 seconds kit from Bountiful Baby. It is like $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 kind of a kit. Like that is like not something most people can just kind of afford to screw up. So, so I think most of the ladies who paint silicones are kind of more like, I think they're more like full-time artists, at least the ones I've seen. I could be totally wrong on that, so please correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, so I do think that that's a great route to go, because you can get a you know, a doll that's fully painted by, you know, an artist, and you can get a full body silicone that's brand new that way. So I have two babies that I am doing this with. So and two ladies that I can say, I can just share that do paint silicones are Kat Johnson and also Sherry Zegra are two ladies who paint silicones. I know Chris C definitely does as well, but she doesn't really do custom orders from my understanding. I think she more paints and then she'll auction them off, typically speaking, and her babies go for more expensive. Susan Gibbs, of course, you know, also paints silicones, and again, hers tend to go more by auction or by private offer or whatnot, and those dolls tend to be in the thousands. And so I wouldn't say that. I think Chris and Susan are going to be a little bit more expensive, generally speaking. And then there are ladies like Maria Grover who, you know, paint. You know, also paint, but she'll generally either do her sculpts or she'll be like, in the case of the Chi sculpt, the Asian baby sculpt that just came out by Bonnie Sieben, Maria, you know, had the right to pour, I guess, all of those babies. I think I'm getting that right, that she poured them, and then she painted one as a prototype to sell, and that doll went for so high on eBay, as I shared earlier. And then other than that, you can just buy the blank kit. So I will share my experience about that, and then also the Natalie that I've been having painted. Now, how do you get a hold of these kits? You really need to follow these artists on Facebook. It's very, that's really the number one way to find out. You have to follow them, and then when you see a new sculpt coming out, private message them. And don't, when you contact an artist, this is really important, don't just say how much or say, I want a silicone. Like, I think just using some polite language and using full sentences with proper grammar, I think will help and go a long way. And the reason I say this is a lot of artists have been, you know, talking about how, you know, because we all get a lot of messages. I'm not even like a full-time artist by any means. I'm more of a hobbyist. I paint a little bit, you know, outside of my full-time job and taking care of the kids. So I'll paint a little bit, but I get a lot of messages, and I think it probably is because of YouTube. But anyway, I think it's always like disconcerting when people don't like bother to put a sentence together. So you can always, I think that's really important, and just following this artist, because that's the way you'll hear about these kits that are coming out. So that's how I was able to get a Natalie and also a Chi, just because I was following Maria and I was also following Izzy Zhao. And when they posted these, I PM'd them, got on the list, and was able to purchase one. So the Natalie full body silicone kit ended up being about, I think, 1,600 if I'm not mistaken, and then on top of that, then I have to hire you know, Kat to paint, and I also had Lazara root her, so that adds obviously a lot more money on top of that. But all in all, when you kind of add it all together, you know, you can get a full body silicone if you purchase a kit maybe for around 3,000, and that would be a brand new baby to you, which is nowadays like on the more affordable side, believe it or not, for full body silicone. It just is. Andrea's babies have always been priced, I think, very competitively, but like, you know, I think a lot of the full body silicones these days, like you're seeing more in that sort of 5,000 and up range, like pretty typically, and there are quite a few that are now, you know, that are kind of right around that 10,000 mark, and even some that go higher. So it just, it can be harder and harder, I feel like, to find an affordable silicone. So that's my second piece of advice. Get a blank kit and find an artist to paint it for you, because usually it'll be less expensive than just bidding on a completed doll on eBay, because those dolls usually have a lot of people looking at them and you get a lot of competition that way versus if you just do a custom order. My third, I guess, piece of advice for finding an affordable silicone baby, and this is along the lines of like maybe finding an older sculpt, is, you know, Susan Anderson, who is on Dollfan, she has a website called Children of the Heart. And I'm going to give her a little bit of a shout out. I haven't bought from her before, but she's very reputable in the doll community. It's childrenoftheheart.net, and she's considered a doll dealer. And she has, you know, older silicone babies on her website, as well as like one-of-a-kinds, which are, I think, made out of clay, and just some older dolls that can be found at a more affordable price point. So that can be another option to look into. I think there's... oh gosh, there is a Doll Connection, I think, is another one that might be worth looking at as well. And I think and I think those two ladies might take payment plans, so that can be something to explore. But you know, I think if you need a layaway, it doesn't hurt to ask, and that can definitely make the doll more affordable too, to not have to have all the money up front, but to be able to spread it out over time with payments. So anyway, those are probably just my best pieces of advice for finding an affordable silicone. But I feel like affordable silicone is a bit of an oxymoron. I feel like all silicone babies are expensive, just the material is more expensive. It's more delicate. It is, but if you look at just, it's so much more real. It's so realistic. It's just, you know, it feels much more like, you know, like you're holding, you know, a real baby, in my opinion, and it looks more realistic, like it's a real baby. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this video and for this chat. And if you have any other advice for finding an affordable silicone baby, please feel free to leave that in the comments so that people watching this can, when we can all just share ideas and share artists and resources. There are so many awesome artists out there, and there's so many new artists like I've never even heard of. So I think, but yeah, but I think at the end of the day, like, you know, these dolls are so expensive, even if it's a more affordable silicone. I really urge you to buy what you love and what speaks to your heart. And it doesn't have to be the most expensive baby, but it really should be a baby that you love and you're going to enjoy and hopefully keep for a while. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Oh my gosh, I can't get over how cute her little feet are. Oh my gosh, she's so darling. All right, I'm going to give her a little hug. It's so hot. I'm not going to like hold her too close to me, but a little hug. Aw, mwah. She's such a sweetheart. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video. Let me show you guys Melina one more time. All right, bye.